What's up, everybody? And rest assured, the fan is off today. There'll be no background noise. The humidity where I am is like 19,000%. It's so gross. I'm literally sticking to my desk. But here we go. We're back with another edition of my Ken Kratz book review, where I go over Ken Kratz's book and compare it to things that we have learned in Making a Murderer and things that have come out since, and compare it to his book. Now, just because I'm going over his book, reading his book, and talking about the things that he talks about in his book does not mean I believe anything that he states. I just want to make that clear. I say that at the beginning of every video, so in case there's new viewers, they fully understand what we're doing there. And before I jump in, this is going to be chapter 11, part 11. Are there any other books out there on the topic, either good or bad, whether you like them or don't like them? Are there any other books out there I should cover? And remember, I'm covering Ken Kratz's book, so I'm open to any suggestions whatsoever. Let me know, leave some comments. But here we go. Part 11, chapter 11, The Villains. Finally! A chapter about Ken Kratz himself, right? Woo! Ken Kratz states, imagine a lifetime of bringing those who harm others to justice. That would be a magnificent job to have. Or, in this case, imagine having to live with yourself knowing that you framed or were a part of the situation allegedly that sent two innocent people to prison. You know, even if Ken Kratz was an amazing district attorney, an amazing lawyer, an amazing person throughout all of this, and this was the only bad thing he did, it would still be one thing too many. But we know this is not the only bad thing he ever did. Of course, we know years after this, he sent inappropriate text messages to a domestic violence victim who was also a client of his. So this is not the first time he has done something inappropriate and wrong. Ken Kratz states that Andrew Colburn said, why would he throw that all away when he had his big payday coming, the $36 million? Solid question, Andrew. Would anybody throw that away? No. Would you do anything? Would you murder somebody when you're days, weeks, months away from getting $36 million? Nope. That's probably a town, a district, an area that probably couldn't afford, that didn't have the $36 million to pay Steven Avery. How do you get out of paying someone $36 million? You frame them for murder, allegedly. Andrew Colburn states he has problems sleeping at night because of the threats his family gets. And that's something I don't agree with. It's not his wife and it's not his child's fault that Andrew Colburn allegedly did these things. I would never say anything disparaging about his wife or his children. I will never mention them in any video in any sort of negative way. It's not their fault that their father allegedly did the things that he did. That's just my opinion. But he states he has problems sleeping because of the threats his family gets. And I totally agree. I would have problems sleeping with that as well. Or maybe part of it could be he feels guilty for the part he played in sending two innocent people to prison. That could definitely play a part in having trouble sleeping at night as well. Allegedly. Andrew Colburn states that he can't help that he was in the bedroom when the key was found. Let's veer in a different direction for a second. Let's just say, in a different world, that that was true. That he couldn't help being in the room when the key was found. What if it was James Lennox that planted the key and found the key with Andrew Colburn standing there? Imagine, and then he felt the need and or pressure to cover it up for his coworker. What a twist that would be. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just throwing a different twist on it, but because there's so many different theories and angles out there. Ken Kratz states that James Lennox told him he volunteered to help search on November 3rd, 3 weeks after being deposed, because he was a trained evidence tech, something that was needed. Even if that was the case, remember, no one from that particular department was supposed to be allowed to search the Avery property. They were only supposed to be there to offer pieces of equipment when needed. So even if he did volunteer to search because they didn't have a trained evidence tech, which I find hard to believe, there's no way. I mean, everything about this case surprises me, so maybe it is true. There's no way he's the only evidence tech in the area or in the state of Wisconsin. Did you see the amount of officers and cars that showed up to the Avery salvage yard? And he's the only one in Wisconsin that is a trained evidence tech. The only one. I find that hard to believe. Ken Kratz states that James Lennox suffered a heart attack 8 days after Making a Murderer was released because of how he was being portrayed as a crooked cop. And yeah, that would have to be tremendously stressful. Or he had a heart attack because of the stress and the guilt he was feeling for his part he played in framing 2 innocent people and sending them to prison. Allegedly. Now, there is absolutely no way possible that in 2005, 2006, 2007, that when this camera crew was in Manitowoc County, was in Wisconsin, filming all of this stuff, there's no way they knew. I mean, Netflix barely existed at this time, definitely not to the extent that it is now. There's no way that they would know a decade later that this would air on the largest streaming service in the world. In the world, millions upon millions of people were seeing what James Lennox and Andrew Colborn allegedly did, their part in framing an innocent man. Allegedly. So I can totally see how that was stressful. Even if Andrew Colborn and James Lennox were these stand-up, amazing cops before this and after this, this one thing should absolutely define your career. If this is the only time you ever did anything wrong as a police officer, as a detective, as an investigator, as the only trained evidence tech in Wisconsin, it's still one time too many. You deserve to feel that guilt and that pressure. Again, that's just my opinion. So if all of this, the problems in their life are happening because of guilt they are feeling because of what they did, it's truly deserved. Allegedly. I hope everybody out there has a great day. Remember to hit that subscribe button to the channel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Allegedly.